Hello and welcome to Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. It's been 2 weeks since my last confession, and it is a very overcast May Saturday that I think is probably going to turn into a rainy May Saturday, but that's okay. That's okay. Today is a day for chores, and I'm having a nice indoor brunch with my recorder consort, which is indeed something I do. Most people who know me in real life are not surprised about that. If you don't know me in real life, I mean, I'm a musicologist, so like it's not that far off the mark, but it's just like so incredibly Emma that, yeah. But yeah, it's a nice Saturday. I have my lucky Tiny Desk Knitting mug here because I had to have it with me this morning while I completed surgery on my Setesdal jacket. It went very well. She's recovering nicely. But yeah, I meant to like watch part of my last episode to just like remember where I was when we last spoke. But I forgot. So we're just gonna press on. Okay, so today I'm gonna talk about my cardigan, my Setesdal cardigan that is my kind of long-term project right now. Talk about my other big Fair Isle cowl that I'm trying to finish, mostly just for accountability purposes. We'll talk about some spinning and a couple of other projects that I'm trying to get finished. So, I mean, as usual, I have a lot of things on my needles, but I have less knitting time now, just so busy. Just a fact. I spent a lot of time driving to DC. That's okay. That's what I do. Also, I have a recap of Maryland Sheep and Wool, and some fun video segments that are just not me sitting here and talking to you, which is exciting and fun. So anyway, I'm trying to finish stuff sort of systematically, and I have a few things that have just kind of been sitting and like half done, and it's like, well, I should probably just like get to that and finish it. So I'm working on that too. And we'll hopefully be able to knock some stuff out the next few weeks. I am doing a bunch of traveling in the next month, so hopefully like transit time will mean that I have a lot of knitting time, probably. So one of the ways that I actually do like knitting accountability when I need to finish projects is if I need to travel somewhere, I only bring one thing, or I'll bring like two things, and I'm like, these are the only two things I have, so they're the only two things I can work on, so I have to finish them. So yeah, I'm in the time where I'm like, okay, summer is coming, and I would like to like cast on some like fun summer shirt. I am gonna cast on a fun summer shirt. That's part of today's episode. You'll get to see the yarn I'm gonna use. It's a new spin, and you know, just like get back kind of into the sock world because it's now warm and I don't want to have a big heavy giant wool thing in my lap all the time, even though I do always, because that's what air conditioning is for. Honestly, sometimes I knit like giant wool sweaters at the beach. So yeah, one time I put one on. It wasn't like DC beach hot. I think it was in Plum Island. So it was like in Massachusetts in July or August. Like it wasn't as hot as like it could have been, right? But it was definitely like at least in the 80s at the beach, and I finished the sweater on the beach and I put it on. And there's a picture of me wearing it, which I will probably not share here because it's goofy, but so am I. But you know, I have to keep it together for the internet sometimes. So, okay, let's get to it. First things first, let's quickly talk about this cowl, actually. I'm gonna move this jacket out of the way here. Oh, well, that's fun. Okay, the cowl that I've been working on, which I've discussed before. This is from my friend Bonnie, who's going to Scotland in September. Bonnie's a dear friend that I know from church music in Toronto, which I did not just say like a local, just so everyone would know what I was talking about. That city is actually pronounced Trona with no T's. If you're a local, it's 0 T's in Trona. That's the rule. Anyway, this is a cowl of my own design. Again, it's the second time I've knitted this pattern. You've probably heard me talk about this unless you're new. The first one was, I mean, you can go watch the video if you like go to my page and go to videos and scroll like all the way to the bottom. There's a video called Blue Cap and Cowl. It's like episode, I don't know, 8, 7. It's like way back there, maybe 9. I don't know. It was in the first 10 videos I ever made, and I made a blue cap and cowl set that didn't quite match, but kind of like go together, and I like them together. So anyway, that cowl design is this cowl. And I'm finally knitting up another sample so that I can write the pattern. And I'm gonna make some tweaks from this just so you can kind of get the whole cowl out in exactly one ball of each color, because there's a little too much of this light purple there. I might overdo it and need another ball, which I have, but would prefer it if I'm gonna release this pattern. Would prefer you not to have to get an extra ball and use like 5 yards of it, if possible. So working on that, maybe knit another sample after this. We will see, but this is gonna be called the Bonnie cowl because my friend Bonnie is the one I'm knitting it for. I knit the first one for me. I don't keep very many things, like especially Fair Isle accessories like this, just because I have a huge bag of knitted accessories already, and I'm like, well, I don't need any more. Like, I have plenty, and I'm not gonna give the ones I already have away because I've like worn them, and they're like, you know, I could wash them and like clean them, I guess, but I don't want to. I just wanna, you know, keep them. They're mine. But if I just keep everything, then I'll just have like a house full of knitted accessories, which I don't want because I already have a house full of knitted sweaters. So anyway, as my friends know, my sweaters get offloaded a lot too. Sometimes I just like, here's a sweater, and they're like, what? And I'm like, I don't need it. I'm not wearing it. You'll wear it. Here. That's frequent. Or someone will be like, I love that. And I'm like, here you go. It's yours now. My brother's girlfriend's mom did that a couple summers ago. She's like, I love this purple sweater. And I was like, great, yours. Does it fit? Cool, awesome. You can take that home. And she did. I was like, I don't need it. I got 50 others. Go for it. You'll love it and wear it. And I won't because I wear all my other sweaters. So anyway, I digress. This cowl I have to do at least 2 more bands, maybe 3 more, depending on how long it is at the end of 2 more bands. So I'm gonna try to do it in 2 more, maybe 3, depending again on the length. I don't want it to be too tight. Like I made one for my grandma in last year that I gave her for Christmas, the green one that I probably showed many times. That one was pretty snuggly, but she lives in Alberta and she wears it outside. So like it's meant to be snuggly and like more outdoory. So maybe we'll do this one one more band just to give, it's already gonna have a Mobius twist. Like I'm gonna give it a half twist to make it snuggly. So maybe we'll make it a little longer for Bonnie. Okay, so I need to finish this by June 1st when I go to Toronto and see Bonnie. So I might finish it this week. I don't know, probably won't. Maybe I will. But regardless, I am going on a train on Friday for 12 hours. And I have to kind of work because I'm doing a remote work kind of situation for, you know, working hours, where I like read stuff and make content because I don't have proper internet access. But I am also just gonna be sitting there for, again, 12 hours. So I'm gonna have a lot of knitting time, and I will probably try to finish this on the train if it's not done. But I kind of want to give myself some leeway so I don't have to like feel pressured to finish it this week and just do it on the train. If I finish it, then I'll start weaving in the ends because I haven't woven in any ends, and as you can imagine, there are a lot. You don't really have to weave in ends on something like this. You can just like tie them and snip them, but I don't believe in that because I pull sometimes too hard on the yarn to just like tug it tight, and then it like can come loose, and I don't want that. So, and like I don't want it to break and then have something pop out. Even if it's Shetland wool, it's sticky, like you just don't want to mess with that. Like I'm not interested in having it unravel. Like steeks I can handle. Like if yarn is like tiny, like the end is like so tiny and it's like maybe gonna pop right out, I can't handle that. That's too much. Especially if I'm not the one who's gonna be wearing and caring for the item. So, cowl, done. Many colors. I think there's a project page for this. If there's not a project page for this, I'll make one and I will link this, and then you can see what all the colors are. I'm using Jameson's of Shetland for this, which looks like this in the ball. Jameson Shetland Spindrift. This is the color Lomond. There are 8 colors in it. There's, I don't know, like this reddish purple one is called Foxglove, I know that. I think this lightish purple is Orchid. One of them's just white. It's like the light blue is Eggshell. There's 2 blues, but it's hard to tell if you look at it up close so you can kind of see. Yeah. Bonnie requested the pinks and blues and purples and grays and white. So we got all of them. Okay, let's talk about the cardigan. So again, she underwent surgery this morning and the patient is doing well. So I had done the first, again, I split for the sleeves. I split the sleeve steeks off basically, which are, there's one and the other one is over here on the other side. So I split off for sleeves, and then before I did that, I did these 2 bands. So traditionally you don't do anything in between your lice pattern and your first band here, although I kind of wish I'd done like a couple more rounds just to like separate them visually. But I was like, I'm not taking that far back. This is good. It looks like a lot of other Setesdal jumpers. I'm not worried. So I did that, separate, and then I separate them all by like at least 1 band. And then I did the zigzag, which is very traditional. And then I separated for the sleeves, and I decided at that point that I was gonna switch to the white background with the black motifs. So, oh no, I don't have stoppers on this because usually my stoppers are for size 2 needles, and this is on a size 2.5. And so also all of my size 2 stoppers are in use, and you will see them all today. So we need to be careful with this. The stitches won't come loose because this is Fair Shetland yarn and Norwegian yarn. It's really sticky, but the stitch markers will get lost if I'm not careful. So I should have just knitted further around, but whatever, I'll be careful. So anyway, I've switched to white background, black pattern. But when I did it initially, I didn't separate them with like a white band and then a black band, and it just visually didn't look very good. So I put it in time, and because I started the first motif, and I'll show you my chart. I made a chart I made a digital chart, and I'll show it to you, but it didn't look very good. Just visually, like I started the star chart and I was like, I don't like this. There needs to be more bands. Like I did some more Googling, figured out that I was spelling Setesdal wrong on Ravelry when I was searching it, and then I figured out how to spell it right, and then I found a bunch of patterns, and I was like, okay, so I need more like visually, I need some more lines to just separate my motifs. So I decided to do that. So I went back this morning to the first round of that white, and then so this is right after I split for the sleeves, and then I did a band of black and another band of white, and then I started the bottom stars again. And so I think maybe I'll work on this for a little bit just to have some progress, especially because I'll be away. If I do it every 2 weeks, I'll be back in 2 weeks. That's Memorial Day weekend, so I'll be back then. I can record then, that's fine. But I would like to have some progress on it. So if I finish, well, I might just bring it all. I was gonna say, if I finish the Fair cowl before I go, then I could bring this. But I'll probably just bring them both. No, maybe not. We'll see. I should stop hemming and hawing and just be like, no, I'm not gonna do that. And you'll see why. So I probably won't bring this with me. So I'd like to get some of it done this week so that like in a couple weeks I can show you some progress. But I'm going on the train, so I can bring as much stuff as I want basically. And I'm coming back here to Baltimore with my family in the car, so I can bring, again, as much stuff as I want, I'm not flying. So this here, I brought my computer so that I could turn it around and show you the chart that I made. So let's just make this big so you can't see my giant, all of my windows. Okay, so in my Knitbird software, I made this chart. So you can see where it goes from black background to the white background. Although I think what I'm gonna do is do these 3 big middle motifs with white background and black foreground. And then at the very top, these last 2 motifs, I think I'm gonna go back to the black background with white color work. And I think I have the right number of rounds for, vertically the measurement that I want. I think if anything, it will be too big and not too small. So I'm not super fussed if it's too big. I'll probably lay it down over my Hilda jumper, which I really like. It's kind of oversized. And as long as it's not bigger than that and the arm side isn't taller than that, like I'll push measure the Hilda arm side and see, then we'll be fine. So yeah, it's fine. We're good, but we'll see what happens. I just, this is freehand, so it's a little bit of just, all right, we'll see what happens, and if it doesn't work, I'll rip it back. But you have to be careful because you can't rip it back after you cut the steeks open. So I am being careful again. Like I went back because I was like, I don't like that. I need more separation between especially if I'm switching background colors. Like I can't just have like a line, I need to have like a stack of bands. So it looks good. So I've done that. So I did my troubleshooting and I fixed it. Now I'm off to the races again. But again, it might be, I gotta try to work on a little bit this week so that I'd like to get at least one band done, because this is one of the small ones, and then I have or it's like the medium sized one, and then I have the big one. And the big one is supposed to echo this one here, but it's bigger. It's like taller, you know. I don't like to directly copy things in my yokes if I'm not necessarily, if I'm doing like play with that, but it's nice to kind of nod to it, you know. So anyway, that's my update on this. She hasn't had much work, but she had surgery and she's on the mend, so we're all set. This is a bag that my mom's friend Patty got for me. So it's free to be kind. It is free to be kind. That's my life philosophy. Okay. We have 2 more projects to show you. I'm not trying to make this super long, but I haven't spoken in 2 weeks, so if it's long, then it's long. Whatever. Let's talk about this big sweater. I don't even know if I've shown this, excuse me. This is a big old sweater. I feel like I showed it like, I don't know, 5 months ago when I started it or something. Like I was working on it. I started it when I was home for Christmas. So like a minute ago, like around New Year's, because my mom and I went to Montreal to drop my grandparents off at the airport so they could fly back to Calgary. And we went to Espace Tricot and I got Drops Air, which is one of my favorite super soft yarns that's not very expensive and you can't get it in America. So you can order it online from outside of America and import it in, but you can't get this. Drops doesn't distribute in America, which is really annoying. So I always get it if I'm at a Canadian yarn store because it's not expensive. The exchange rate's really good. And especially for like sweaters for other people who are like complain about wool being itchy, this is like the softest thing in the world. This Drops Air is 65% alpaca, 28% I think polyamide, and then it's like the rest, like 7 or 8% is wool. So if you look at it up close, it has a kind of like, it's not a chainette construction, but it's like I think this is called a blown yarn, like it's like a coreless. So it's Aran or worsted Aran weight. And it's pretty springy and it's really fuzzy because of the alpaca, but it's like hollow. So it's really lightweight. So it has pretty good yardage. I think it's only 50 grams. Maybe I'm wrong. I feel like there's like 100 and some yards on it. I don't have a ball band. I'll link Drops Air from Espace Tricot in the show notes if you would like to check out all the details and maybe order some. Because if you're in the States, you can order from Espace Tricot or any Canadian or international knitting store that carries it. But this is a really, really nice yarn. And this is like obviously it's like a beigey pink color. So I started this, I don't know, I guess in January, maybe December. I started it right after I finished my gold sparkly sweater. So I guess that would have still been December because I finished that before New Year's. And I really didn't get very far. I think I got to the sleeve split and then I stopped knitting because it was vanilla and boring. So I have since in the past week. So I had jury duty last Friday. I didn't have to serve. I just had to show up, and it was a Friday, so they sent us home at like 2 p.m. And we weren't supposed to bring. I thought I couldn't bring metal needles, and then I called them like the night before to see the rules, and they were like, no glass or whatever knitting needles, and I was like, I'm just not gonna bring any knitting because I don't want it to get taken away from me. By the way, this pattern is the Turtle Dove 2, I think, from Espace Tricot, but I didn't make the body. I didn't do it quite as many increases on the body because I didn't want it to be quite as large on me, just because I just drown if the body's too wide. I'm a boxy person, like I'm pretty straight up and down, but if it's too wide, it's just gonna look like I'm swimming in it. It has a really nice turtleneck, quite a high turtleneck. I really like it with the twisted rib. And it's just plain stockinette. I did do some short rows. I don't think the pattern called for any, or if it did, I did more, whatever. But it is really soft and it's super lightweight. So I really like this. Anyway, I left at the break during jury duty because I asked the lady at the like security desk if I could bring wooden knitting needles in, and she was like, yes. And so I went home and I got this and I started working on it. And then I went to, I just like was knitting it all weekend because I went to a friend's house to teach her how to knit, and I just wanted to have some vanilla knitting so that I could demonstrate easily. And that was a great option. And I got through a bunch of that, like the body. We had a work meeting on Zoom. It was like an hour and a half advising community meeting. So I got through the rest of this body. I just finished one of the balls and I put it on barber cords. And then I did this guy, I was like, I'll start the sleeves. Did the first sleeve. You'll hear about why it's on these needles in a second. Then I started the second sleeve. So right now, nothing is finished. Like everything is just kind of like loose here, like still on needles, barber cords, needles, still working on this sleeve, 2 balls attached. It's like a little bit of a mess right now, but I need to decide what to do. So I finished, like, this is long enough that I know that it's gonna fit. It's still quite wide, and it's alpaca, so it's not very springy. So I need to decide if I want to taper the sleeve in quite a bit and just do like a tight cuff, or if I want to have like a looser cuff. So it's just kind of like whatever. But I think I'm probably gonna tighten it up a little bit because it'll loosen anyway, because it's alpaca and it's not gonna have the same spring as wool. But yeah, I didn't have the right needles. I put it on, like I wasn't thinking, so I put it on needles 2 sizes smaller so I could do the ribbed cuff, but then I grabbed 16-inch needles, which I was using for the sleeves and I am using for the other sleeve. But when you get to the cuff, if you're tapering, you need a magic loop needle. You can't do a tapered cuff necessarily on a 16-inch needle. I mean, I can't do most tapered sleeves finished on a 16-inch needle. I have to finish on magic loop because it's just too small for a 16-inch needle. So anyway, that's fine. I will do that, but I need to make a decision. And I've been asking everyone, like, how should I finish the sleeve? And everybody's like, oh, I don't know, it'll look good both ways. So if you have an opinion, well, I'm not gonna upload this till Tuesday and I'll probably have finished, not the entire, well, I could if I wanted to, but like I probably won't finish the entire sweater by Tuesday, but I'll have finished a good portion of it. So I'll probably have finished one of these sleeves and I have already made a decision. Although you can always rip back. I gotta fix Jordan's sleeves. They're just way too long. She really likes the bell sleeve, but I need to rip it back like 4 or 5 inches because she's cuffing it twice, which I think she likes, but I'm like, you know what, you should enjoy this sweater. Like it should be perfect. I made it for you so that it would be perfect and it would be what you wanted to wear. So yeah, but yeah, I speaking of like teaching friends to knit, so I was at my friend Maggie's apartment because she wanted to knit. She's a very like textile minded person, so she knows, like she sews like with machine, and she also does hand embroidery and like hand sewing and needlepoint, and she knew that I was a big knitter, and she has like tried to learn how to knit a bunch of times, but she's lefty, so it's been too difficult and I was kind of like, she told me this and I was like, okay, so I think that's because you need to be throwing yarn with your left hand, which I always do. But also like knitting English style, like normal knitting, the stitches are twisted so that you actually have to twist your right wrist or like do this movement, as everyone probably watching this who knits normally knows. You kind of have to twist your wrist to do this, to get it into your needle into the loop, which is not super comfortable, especially if you're not used to using your right hand a lot. So this is like a larger discussion about my knitting style, which is Eastern knitting, the Eastern knitting style. That's what it's called. And the reason I knit Eastern style is because this is like a common style in like Russia, Ukraine, Eastern Europe. And my matrilineal line, which is how I learned how to knit, is like a lot of people, is from Eastern Europe. So my mother's mother, who, if you want to meet her and on my channel, go back to the episode where it says it's called 3 Generations, and I'm talking to my mom and my grandmother, Baba. My grandmother, Baba, grew up on a farm in Alberta, and her parents were from Ukraine. So they came to Canada in like 1901-ish, and they moved to the prairies, to Alberta, where there's free farmland. There was a lot of, there was like food shortages and famine in Ukraine, and so Canada was like, you can come here and have this farmland in like the coldest place on earth. So they were like, cool. Sorry, ambulance. So I learned from my mom, who learned from Baba, who learned from her mother, who was from Ukraine. And so they had an Eastern style of knitting, which is in which you knit through the back loops instead of the front loops, and the stitches are twisted the other way. Oh God, that's loud. Sorry, we have a fire station on our street, so it's always loud. when they leave. So the back leg is leading, which means you don't actually have to twist your right wrist to go into the stitch. You need to just insert it like right down into the back. So the wrist movement is a lot less, it's a lot more ergonomic. Let's say that it doesn't put as much strain on your wrist. So I said to Maggie, I was like, well, I think that this is a method you could use. I think I must have told her, oh, like when I knit, I don't, you know, and my hands are very like together, like I don't use my right hand, like, because she knew like most people throw with their right hand, which she couldn't do. So I can't do that either, to be fair, and I'm right-handed. So I was like, well, if you knit continental style, that's number one, helpful, you know, you're throwing with your left hand. But I was like, what if we tried this? So we tried it and it worked. And she has knit all week and is very happy with it. So, and is not having any pain or any trouble. If you want to see what the Eastern knitting style looks like, I also have a video that I sent it to the Woolly Thistle people because I sent it to the Woolly Thistle for the Shopcast because they asked me last time I was a Shopcast contributor. They were like, oh, like how does she knit so fast? Like, let's see a video of you knitting. Please send us a video. So I did. So while I was Maggie's, she filmed my hands knitting so that I could send it to you because I can't film my own hands knitting because I don't have a setup to do that. So I'll insert that here if you want to see it. Cool. So maybe we'll do some like, I don't know, online videos more. I'll probably have a setup pretty soon to do hand filming for one reason or another. Maybe that's a surprise. I can't tell you why. But I will maybe have some videos like doing that in detail so you can see what it's like if you're interested at all, which is fun. So, and I may help other folks. Again, it's really hard to learn a new style of knitting. Like I can knit normal, like with the loops twisted and with the front leg leading. I can knit that way. I don't like it, but I can. I mean, when I knit twisted rib, I have to knit wrapping the yarn that way. It's not as hard for me to wrap the yarn that way. I always have to hold the yarn in my left hand. I could never, ever throw with my right hand. I can't even imagine that. So like, that's why people will look at that and be like, well, that looks, my knitting, and be like, well, that looks really efficient, but that's not how I know how to knit. So I don't want to do that because it would be like relearning motor skill that I already know how to do really well. So that makes sense. But if you would like to try, knitting through the back loops, basically all you have to do is knit through the back loop instead of the front, and then wrap the yarn from around the back towards the front instead of around the front towards the back. So if you're an inquisitive person, you can do that. So this works for Maggie because she did not know how to knit regular style. So like she wasn't confused and said like, you know, she didn't have any issues like with like relearning a motor skill. So, and again, her right hand doesn't have to do quite so much work. So if you're left-handed, some people just like learn to knit backwards, but I was like, well, I can't teach her how to do that because I don't know how to knit backwards. And she's pretty good at self-teaching, but like, even like if you have no idea what you're doing with knitting, like from YouTube, that it's hard. So she has made a lot of progress. In case anyone is wondering, her little scarf is like this long now and she's getting really bored. So we're going to learn the purl stitch this weekend and maybe start a hat. So yeah, that is fun. Okay. So, and I will give you, if she wants to update you on her progress, I will let her do that when she feels like she wants to. Okay. These stitches are going to get dropped, but hopefully I'll finish a bunch of this sweater this weekend. And next time you see me, it'll be definitely done, but I don't know if I'll be wearing it because it might be 6 million degrees. This door is only open because I accidentally burned the sourdough pancake I was making. So this is the next project that I would like to finish in the next couple weeks. Well, I probably won't actually reasonably, but I would like to come back to it and get it kind of going. And okay, so this is my Inclinations cowl that I started, ages ago. and it is knitted in hand spun, 2 hand spun colors. One of the reasons I think I've been neglecting it is because I know I'm gonna play yarn chicken with the barber pole one. So, which is the right side? I don't think it matters. It's half fisherman's rib, so both sides are fine. This is just a cowl that, you know, goes around the neck and is easy to wear. And Andrea Mowry made hers with spin cycle dyed in the wool, so I was like, I'm gonna make it with hand spun. And I tried to make it with hand spun in October, and the hand spun was too thick. And also I was only using one color, so I kept forgetting which row to increase on, which wasn't helpful. So right now I'm working on a double increase section. No, this is a flat section and this is an increase section. But pretty soon I'm gonna be at the end of this, and I will then start decreasing it. So it's gonna get smaller. So I have another skein of like greenish barber pole yarn that will be fine with this teal. So if it runs out, this is a teal from John Urban. This is Harvest Hues in blue spruce. It's a top that I spun. I didn't buy the yarn. And then this is just a barber pole Fun Times yarn that I made, I think last fall. I made this was the second skein I made on Louise, the e-spinner. So this was it, and it was my first skein that was at 400 yards in 100 grams, which was very exciting. And then this is just this is a little bit thicker because the cakes were about the same size when I started, but this yarn is more like a sport to DK weight. It's like more thick and thin. I spun it on the wheel. I was not quite as experienced when I made it, but I like it anyway. And it doesn't matter. You should always just use your hand spun because it's your hand spun and it's special. So yeah, I'm working on this and would like to kind of finish it up just because I have a lot of neck wear on the needles right now. I'm also working on a shawl for the Woolly Thistle shawl cowl, which will not be done by the time that ends. But if you would like to see it, you can watch the shopcast on Friday, because I didn't want to talk about that here too, because I just talked about it yesterday. Okay, sorry, I had to reset. That's what happens when you live with people. gotta let them use the kitchen too. Okay, so I'm done with talking about knitting. That was a convenient segue for me. This isn't really straight. Okay, there we go. Okay, so let's segue into spinning. Okay, so the last time we spoke, I think I was spinning this red fiber, and that's done. So here is a super fun, very bouncy red skein of yarn. Reddish, it's many colors. And so it's about 400 yards. I was trying to get a thicker skein, and it was a lot thicker than the last one I did, which had like 700 yards on it or something crazy. But still, like, very much, it's more of a sport weight. I mean, because it puffed up a little bit. It's merino. There's a lot of colors in here. If you missed the last episode, there's like black, there's orange, there's purple, there's blue, there's obviously a bunch of reds. There's like a darker red and like a lighter red. And it's mostly red, so it came out red. This was from BZB, and it was called Mojave. So if you want to get it, I can link it in the show notes. I linked I linked it in the show notes last time, so I have the link. Everything, by the way, that you see here that's like, oh, you can buy that somewhere, I will link it in the show notes. So so I don't know what I thought when I just started spinning it. I never really go into spinning with real plans, which is probably an issue. I should go into spinning with plans because it's better to do that. But just because then you can kind of spin, like you have like a goal in mind that you're spinning to. It's just kind of like easier. Anyway, I ended up spinning, 400 yards of like sport fingering weight. So I would like to make a top with this, and I think I'm gonna make a little just cropped t-shirt kind of jumper thing, kind of like this. This is, by the way, I didn't even say that. This is Yume by Isabel Kramer. I always just call it Yume, but it's Y-U-M-E. A lot of people call it Yume. There's no accent over the E, so I wouldn't naturally call it that, but whatever. I actually have made this in a full sleeve pullover as well. I really like this design. It's just cute. It's got like little easy lace. If you're looking to do a little easy lace garment, you're not super comfortable with lace yet, this is a good one. It's really easy to read. I knitted this in a silk yarn, 100% mulberry silk yarn called I don't know what it's called. It's from Pearl Soho. I will link it in the show notes. The colorway is blue bamboo. I know that. But, and I held it double. And my mom got me this for Christmas several years ago to make a different top, but I ended up ripping that out because I didn't like holding it single. I stupidly, because this is silk, dried this in the sun and it got, it changed color. So I actually don't mind the color it is now, but it used to be like a lighter blue. I don't know if you can see that. It used to be a like more blue than green, and now it's kind of greenish. But again, as long as, because of the whole thing, and like I dried the back as well, so that like when I flipped it over, so it would all be this color. The inside is like the original color, and every time I look at it, I'm like, I wish it was still that color. But everything is green. Like, I mean, it goes with my glasses, so whatever. I'm not fussed. Anyway, I was thinking about making this with this. But I think I'm gonna make the Salt Air top instead, which is like just a different lace pattern. Regardless, I only have 400 yards, so I'm gonna have to change the gauge and modify the gauge quite a bit. So which means I'm gonna use bigger needles so that I can get a longer top out of this skein of yarn. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna figure out the gauge I want. I'm gonna size it down from the original, like the stitch count down from the original, while keeping the repeat structure in proper place so that I have like a number that goes into the repeat. Knit the pattern to the basically numbers that I want for my size in the gauge that I'm getting, which I anticipate will be like around 20 stitches over 4 inches instead of like 22 or 24, which it normally would be. It's going to be a loose little crop jumper. I'll probably wear it like over, like over a dress or like with a high-waisted skirt or something. But so the challenge, this is a church music thing. So I do church music, as if you have watched my channel before, you probably know. So we're getting to the end of Eastertide, which is a season, of the liturgical year. So Easter was, now 5 weeks ago. And, so there's 6 Sundays and then there's Ascension Day after the 6th Sunday of Easter. So there's, including the normal Easter Sunday, there's 6. So tomorrow's Easter 6. And then next Thursday, so 2 days from now, if you're watching this, is Ascension Day, which is 40 days after Easter. And then 10 days after Ascension Day, so not the following Sunday, but the Sunday after that is Pentecost. And on Pentecost, you're supposed to wear red. And so I've decided to do an Ascension Day to Pentecost challenge where I knit a red top between Ascension Day and Pentecost. And I am going home on the 12-hour train the day after Ascension Day, so I will have a lot of knitting time, which is what I was referencing earlier. And said I had something to do, so I can't bring too many projects home because I gotta do this. And so I'm gonna knit this. I'll probably make it in like, honestly, 3 or 4 days. Like, it's probably not gonna take all 10. Maybe I'll spread it out over 10 if possible, but I also have to block it, so if I want to wear it on Pentecost. So I'll probably knit most of it, honestly, on the train back to Vermont and then in the car on the way back to Baltimore. So I'm going home because my brother is graduating from college a week from tomorrow, which is insane. Like, I'm a lot older than him. He was born when I was like 7.5 years old, but like he's like, I mean, I have mostly lived away from him since he was 11 because I went to college when he was 11. So like, I obviously came home all the time and I've lived with him for like years at a time, like a year at a time. And like, we know each other very well as adults. Like, he's my brother, but like most of my childhood friends are like, he's what? He's how old? I'm like, yeah, he's graduating like from high school. I'm like, no, from college. Like, in all their minds, he's like 11. So, because that's how old he was when we left home. So he's graduating from college. And I think he said yes to the job offer that he got. He's going to stay in Vermont for at least a year. And he's like shopping for his first car. And I'm like, oh my gosh, he's 22. He can drink. We went to a bar together the last time I was home and I was like, this is so weird. Like, we've never done this before. It's fun. It's a joy. It is. It's just like my brother is an adult now and I'm just like, not really sure how to deal with that. Even though I'm almost 30, like, I'm like, he's like 10 still. Anyway, so Ian's graduating, so I'm going home for that. And my mom is also the herald of graduation, which is very exciting. She's always the herald. She's a really good MC. So she gets to be like the MC of graduation and carry a giant mace and like announce everything, and it's really cool. So because my mom is the herald, we get to go to like a super VIP breakfast and fancy lunch and like all this stuff because she's important. So yeah, so this is my challenge. When I'm home, I gotta do this, like a train and car mostly, but I gotta knit the Ascension to Pentecost top. And I think, and I thought I was gonna knit something like this, but it's gonna be like this, but like a little bit more lace. And I'm probably not gonna do all of the length of lace. Like I'm probably gonna stop it sooner so that it's not so deep. The yoke's not so deep, because if the yoke is deep, you use more yarn because you're making more sleeve. And if I don't mind cap sleeves, I mean, my shoulders are really, really wide, but if I make cap sleeves, then most of the yarn can go to lengthen the body. And I prefer it not to be like a crop top, because again, I'm probably gonna wear it over a dress, but like it needs to at least hit my waist. And I like it if it hits my hips, if possible. It probably won't, because this is just one skein of yarn, but I'm doing this is just my challenge. I like to personally challenge myself. Okay, so I've spun that. That was 9 minutes of talking about that skein. Here's another skein that I made. I was just feeling the blue and purple moment. This was like 2 weeks ago, a week ago? No, 2 weeks, it was 2 weeks ago. And I grabbed like 75 grams of fiber from the basement, from my bag, and blues and purples, and I spun this up. And I really, because I was disappointed in myself for not spinning a DK, I have now spun a DK. So this is a real proper DK. Totally barber poled, super fun. Yeah, I just, I don't know what that smell is. It doesn't smell bad, it just kind of smells like the basement. So this is just a fun barber pole moment. I got a little bit of the lilac in there just for some visual interest to make it a little lighter. Usually when I do things like this, I just don't even bother keeping them. I give them to people. So maybe I'll give this to Ivy. She loves blue and purple, and she's coming to visit for Memorial Day weekend. So yeah, basically I said earlier that I was traveling a bunch, so I'm going home, obviously, for Ian's grad. The following weekend is Memorial Day, so my parents are coming here, and Ian, they're all coming here for Pentecost, which is exciting because they've never seen me sing. Actually, my dad saw me sing in Philadelphia when I lived there, like once. Both my parents watched me sing in Toronto many times each. Probably never at the same time. They always usually one of them would drive me to Toronto. And my dad came to Philly to see me sing once at the end of my very first year there. And then my DC gig is pretty new, so they haven't seen me. They haven't even been here since I started singing there. So they're actually going to come see me sing, which is not normal. They don't usually get to do that. And when I say see me sing, I mean just come to church and see my choir sing. And they also know Monica, and that's fun for them. And it's like, it's Pentecost, it's gonna be a big day. We're singing a huge French organ mass. We're singing, if you are a church musician, we're singing L'Anglais, Messe Solennelle, which is crazy, and I'm gonna be screaming a high C, which is my favorite thing to do. As long as my voice feels good, then I can sing a full voice, just like absolutely blast a high C. It's my jam. So, okay, I am doing another spin, and it is, I should have said, yes, after Memorial Day, before I get into this other spin, because I'm on a tangent now. So Ivy's coming to visit that Memorial Day weekend as well, but she has several friends in the area. So she'll be in with me on like Memorial Day itself, because my parents are leaving on Sunday. So she and I are probably gonna go to Frederick. If it's a nice day, we'll go to Frederick and we'll go to Magpie, and maybe we'll film a little segment for the channel. Ivy's great. We've been knitting together since we were in probably 10. We've been friends since like 3rd grade, and our moms were both big knitters when we were kids. So we used to knit together in elementary school on pencils at indoor recess because it was too cold to go outside because it's Vermont. And yeah, we still knit together. So she's working on a fluffy mohair sweater that I dyed the yarn for. So maybe she'll bring it. I don't know. She probably won't because she's probably flying, but we'll talk about it, and we'll go to Magpie and we'll have fun. And then after that, the weekend after that, I'm going to see Taylor Swift in Chicago. But I have to fly to Toronto, if you're local. I have to fly to Toronto and road tripping with my 2 undergrad friends. So we went to U of T together, and one of them still lives there, and she's driving us. So we're flying to Toronto. We're going to road trip to Chicago together. we're gonna take 2 days, Friday and Saturday, to drive to Chicago, see Taylor Swift on Saturday night, drive back on Sunday. I fly back to Baltimore on Monday, and then the following Sunday weekend, my friend Lila's getting married. So I have a bunch of, she in Philly, so it's not too far, and I'm a bridesmaid. So it reminds me I have to go pick up my dress. It was just hemmed. I'm wearing the same bridesmaid dress over to Monica's wedding, but we all had matching like long dresses for that, and I really love the color. It's a beautiful light blue. But Lila was like, you don't have to wear long dresses and they don't have to match. So I was like, great, I'm gonna wear this dress, I'm gonna get it hemmed to knee length, and then I can wear it whenever I want because it's knee length. It's not like a full length bridesmaid's dress. So I think that's fun. The hemming cost as much as the dress cost in typical fashion for an inexpensive bridesmaid's dress, but it's a beautiful dress. So I'm really looking forward to being, it fits me so well, and it doesn't have boning, which I really like because I don't like it when they have all the structure and it has to get all taken in and it looks weird. So it's a beautiful dress. Anyway, I have another spin. This is like gonna be such a long video, but whatever. So this is the fiber. It's from Nest Fiber. No, not Nest. Hello Yarn. Hello Yarn. April Club Trinkets is the color. It's Polworth. So this is just a random piece of it, but these are the colors. You can see it's like this mauve and a yellow, mustard yellow, and like green, like a kind of murky tealy, and like there's a lot of sea foam in it. And then this like bluish, and it's really fun. Nest has interesting colorways. I'm really still working out like how best to spin the Nest colorways though, while like maintaining like a spin that looks like not super chaotic. So I've done it, this is my second time Hello Yarn, not Nest. Nest I used to get, that's why I'm saying that. You can get a fiber club from Nest too. I'll link that in the show notes. And I actually loved the Nest fiber club. But it was a lot of like super spongy wool tops like Rambouillet and Targhee, which I don't love to spin. I prefer something toothier, BFL, or I actually don't mind merino. This is Polworth. Polworth is okay. It's not quite, I don't mind Polworth. Polworth is easier for me to spin than Rambouillet or Targhee. Although the better I get at spinning, actually, the less I mind. Like, then the more joy I kind of find in the Rambouillet Targhee spinning as well. Like the springier wools, basically. But you know, I really thrive with like Cheviot and like Corriedale. Corriedale is like really good. Or Romney, Shetland. Anything that's a little toothier, like just a little bit like higher micron count, just something that's a little grabbier. I don't know. It's just easier for me to draft consistently. Anyway, the last one I did was the skein that I had accidentally made in like 750 yards, like unintentionally lace weight. So I'm trying to spin thicker, but also that spin was like really, I haven't knitted with it yet. Maybe it'll look really good, but there were a lot of just random colors and they didn't always look good barber pulled together. So this I'm a little worried is gonna have a similar, but this has more just different colors in it. So this is the second bobbin that I'm working through. So I am doing a 2-ply fractal. This is a little thicker, so maybe it'll just be different. But I'm actually thinking the next time I get one of these, I'll just chain ply it. Like, you know, keep all those colors, those beautiful colors together and chain ply and have a self-striping moment. Like, I think that would be really pretty too and kind of cool. And then I make socks if I wanted to. I don't know, we'll see. You need to spin really fine if you're gonna do a chain ply or you get a really thick yarn. Also, chain plying like 100 grams is like, that's a serious commitment to sit there and chain ply. I mean, it's just, your arm gets really tired. I guess you can take a break. It's also hard for me to chain ply consistently with like a consistent ply and a consistent like length. It doesn't have to be like a consistent loop length, but it's still just like, chain plying is just kind of like, it's something that I probably should do, but I'm like, I don't know if I want to practice on a really nice Hello Yarn Club colorway. But you know what? It's like, who cares? Like, it's wool. Like, it's not like it's a scarcity. So I always say that to other people. I should tell myself. So this is how much left I have to do. I'm really enjoying this, the colorways, and I'm enjoying how the Polworth kind of feels in my hands. I spun a ton of this last night on my drafting. My left pinch muscles got a little tired. So I'm taking a little break. Maybe I'll finish it up tonight. Well, I'm going to Monica's tonight, so maybe not. Monica and I don't drive together very often anymore to church, so we are trying to like have dinner and have time to chat more often just because we miss each other. We see each other all the time. It's just that we're not like, we don't get to like talk and hang out. So, you know, it's a little sad, but we still get to see each other. So we're just gonna, yeah, I'm gonna have a nice dinner and knit tonight together, finish some sleeves. We're both trying to power through sleeves. I'm working on the soft, the drops air sleeve. I need Monica's opinion on how to finish it. I think she's the person I really need to like be like, how do I do this effectively, you know? So that is all for now. This is, I'm gonna share Maryland Sheep and Wool clips. Sorry, I will share that now. I completely forgot. Maryland Sheep and Wool was great. We had a really good time. So I'll share some clips with Monica knitting, walking through the fleece room. There were some dog demonstrations that we watched. Sarah and my friend Sarah, you've seen her if you've watched my channel. She and I do spinning together sometimes. So there's an episode called Spinning with Sarah. If you go back like 10 or 12 episodes, it was sometime in January, February, I think. February maybe. So if you want to see some spin talk with my friend Sarah, she's great, very knowledgeable and interesting. You can watch that. There's a little bit of footage with Sarah and her, I think Alyssa's her neighbor. They came too. We had a great time. My recorder friend Molly bought a fleece and I split it with her and she's gonna process it and then we're gonna both each spin half of it. It's a beautiful CVM Rommeldale fleece from a sheep named Archie. We met Archie's mom. It was beautiful. More on that when Molly starts processing it, but we're not in a hurry. She's gonna do a bunch of processing of this summer when she goes to visit her parents who live like in a place with a big yard. So excited about that. So she's processing it and I'm gonna dye it for us because I have it set up for dyeing. Okay, so I think that's all. So enjoy my Maryland Sheep and Wool clips. They won't be long. And thank you for watching this extremely diverse and varied episode with lots of different people and places and things. Thank you for watching. This has been Tiny Desk Knitting with Emma. Bye!
You are the most beautiful brindley colors.
Oh.
Is it she? Yes. What a sweetheart.
Pass called an outrun. Right there. She gets behind them. Honey, they're not coming to me. By them. She's taking her
Way out there.